As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
I had to go with Michigan. The NCAA finally came out with their punishments from the long investigation that's been going on. And, all things considered, I think they got off pretty good. It could have been worse, I think, but some of the notable changes added a game to Sharon Moore. Michigan imposed the 2-game suspension. NCAA's added one to that. And then a series of fines, um, you know, 10% of revenue, 10% of the scholarship financials, a $50,000 fine. You've also got like the loss of all the postseason revenue that they could hit in the 25 and 26 seasons. So a lot of people are saying that whenever you tally everything up, the fines could hit the $30 million mark, which is a lot of money. But if you asked anyone in college football, would you pay $30 million for a national championship? I think they'd say, hell yes, we will. So whenever you look at it that way, it kind of feels like, they got out of this thing pretty good. Now, it's not, I'm not saying that to say that they cheated, plain and simple. It's the only reason they won it. And they're able to get off with the 30 million in fines. I think it's clear that they had a very, very, very good football team. But I they're still going to continue to reap the benefits of that championship year after year after year. And, I think that whenever you look at what possibly the NCAA could have done, that Michigan fans, everyone around it has to come away feeling like they got out pretty good. And because it all takes so long, the NCAA that we've seen in the past is you just come out and you punish all of the players and coaches that are there for what happened, before they were there. And I guess I'm happy that they avoided that and just kind of made it financial, but still, I'd say Michigan's a winner in this whole deal.
Which brings me to a question. Why are they appealing this?
I think it's just standard procedure. I don't know.
They just want their lawyers to get their billable hours. Is that like, I
We
feel
got these
like,
guys on retainer. Let's give them some work.
I feel like everyone agrees that they got off pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Didn't have to vacate any wins, certainly didn't have to vacate the title. Other than that, sure, there's the show cause for Connor Stallions and for Jim Harbaugh. Who cares? Harbaugh's never coming back to college football. Why are they appealing it? Is it just I saw Ross Dellinger did some of the math where the fines could have been end up being like in the $35 million range.
Mm-hmm.
But is that big of a deal to Michigan? I don't know. I'm having a tough time figuring out why they would appeal it. I guess they think that the NCAA just didn't. I don't know. Like they just didn't follow their bylaws properly or something. I don't
I don't,
know.
and
Why wouldn't you
there-
just want this to die if you're Michigan?
well, I think part of it is there may be some part of the ruling or something that they feel like they don't have the authority to do. I don't know, but the other part of it is if you don't appeal, is it an admission that we cheated? I don't know. If you continue to fight it, you continue to say we did nothing wrong. I maybe that's a piece of it. I don't know.
That's a great point. Like, hey, we just have to appeal for the optics of it.
Right.
But two things can be true. Michigan cheated. They did. They cheated. They cheated in a way that gave them a competitive advantage. And once everyone knew they were cheating, they still whooped everyone and went and won a national title with a really, really, really good football team. Both things can be true, Ted. And I
Both,
believe both things are.
I agree that, yeah, whatever their system was helping them, but I still think they had the best football team. So, you know, um, what are you going to do? I,
I I guess their real punishment is that anytime that championship comes up, the first thing anyone's going to talk about isn't that defense or Hutchinson or McCarthy. It's going to be Connor Stallions. That team cheated,
yeah, it is. It's
which
always
isn't
going to be
great.
stuff. No,
It, they still get their rings. They still got the trophy, but until the end of time, that team, the first thing people will talk about is, wasn't that the team that was stealing signs and cheating and the guy ended up throwing his phone in the bottom of a pond?
and I will say, like some of the like the recruiting stuff. I mean, I do think that is a factor. It puts them at a disadvantage in recruiting with, when they can communicate with recruits, and there's some stuff that they're going to have to navigate for a bit, but you're right. I mean, it's always going to be a part of the story no matter what.
The Michigan men, the man of honor, the man of integrity. You got to kill that, right?
Good luck.
Michigan men. How many games have your head coach has been suspended over the last couple of years? Yeah, Michigan men. All right, buddy. Hey, they got a national title, but I guess the true punishment, and we'll see what ends up coming of the appeal. Maybe they get that total fine number knocked down a little bit. But yeah, I think ultimately the punishment is every time someone talks about them winning the national championship under Jim Harbaugh, they will talk about how they just blatantly broke the rules
Right.
in a variety of ways, but most notably the sign stealing.
Yep.
I guess that's a good punishment. I don't know. Ohio State fans were not happy with the
No.
punishment.
Which kind of tells you everything you need to know, right? Instead of finger pointing and laughing and saying you got what you deserved, when your rival is upset with the punishment, I think that tells you got off with a win.
Yeah. That's a good way to assess how it went. And once again, makes me go, why are they appealing this? Just move on. But
Yeah.
you made a great point. You have to appeal it just for the optics of it. Completely agree.
Yeah,
And you really like your lawyers.
that's right.
You want them to make money. They're probably Michigan men.
Michigan, man.
All right, who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
I wasn't sure. I was either going to go with guys and teams who fake injuries, or uh, defensive players yet again, as we've added a new defenseless player into the mix. Anyone who's going for a loose ball is now a defensive player. So just bring another realm of targeting into picture. But we got some NCAA rule changes. And I think the most significant one that's going to impact what we've seen from the game, week by week, is the feigning injuries. It's one of the things about it is it's a very difficult thing to legislate. When is a guy truly hurt? When is something really going on? Or when is it a manipulation of the rules? So I think what they've settled on now, this doesn't have to be uh you know put it in stone. This is going to be the feigning injuries rule moving forward. I think it's something that if people still find a way around it, they can, you know, make it even more difficult. But if a player goes down for injury after the ball has been spotted, we've seen a lot of that, right? Team's in a hurry up, ball spotted, ready for play. Defense can't get the signal out. Who's our designated go down with the cramp guy? Take the dive. Someone goes down. Here we stop play. We've seen that a million times. Now, if a player goes down for injury after the ball's been spotted, that team will be charged with the timeout. If they don't have any timeouts, that team will be charged with a delay of game penalty. Also, that player has to come out. Previously, if you take a timeout, you can get that player back in action. Not the case anymore. The player has to miss the next snap of football, no matter if a timeout was granted or not. So it's a step in the right direction.
Are you satisfied with the rule change? Is it a big enough deterrent?
I wish that they would have gone with the player has to miss the rest of the drive.
Okay. But at least we got something. I
I'm
think
saying,
it's enough to where I'm hoping this eliminates that piece of college football because it's annoying. And OU did it some last year. I'm not going to pretend like the Sooners didn't do some of this, but like you're just
you
taking
kind of
advantage
have
of the
to.
rules. Yeah.
When
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
doing it against you nonstop, you kind of have to. Here's my thing. Like, if a player gets hurt during a play and people have to come out, I don't think he should be out for the rest of the drive. But if a player goes down late and you have to take the penalty or the timeout, like we've talked about, if a guy goes down after the ball has been spotted for play, I think that guy should have to miss the rest of the drive, not just the next snap. I think that's a bigger deterrent.
I completely agree.
And maybe we'll, like I said, maybe we'll get to that. If I think this is kind of like the first initial, because we've heard conferences come in and threaten fines, which is a total joke. Sankey threatened that last year, and Ole Miss and Missouri were the two most blatant teams that I saw do it. No fines, nothing. So at least this is some true legislation that we can see how it goes and build on it.
Are there any other of the rule changes that you feel like are very significant? This one's important. Confirmed in stands is now being replaced by upheld. So the referee's going to use the word upheld. So you'll have upheld and overturned.
Yeah. Which, it makes sense. All of the different, and I think that I hope that possibly speeds up the process, that we don't have to like decipher exactly, just tell us, is it standing or not? Like, is it upheld or not? So
Right.
I hope that maybe that speeds things up a little
We
bit.
we don't need degrees
Right.
of hey, is it changing or not? Black and white. We don't need
Correct.
multiple degrees of yeah. No, I'm with you. So we've got the feigning injuries rule, which I would call what, the Lane Kiffin rule. We've
Yeah.
got what I would call now the Kirby Smart rule, which they have changed how many timeouts you get in overtime.
Yep. Yeah. So the new process there is you get a timeout for every round of overtime. Previously, if it goes on for 10 rounds, you get a timeout for every round. Now you get one for the first round, you get one for the second round. If you go to a third round, you get a timeout in the third round, but if you use it, that's the last timeout you get. So if you go 4 or 5 rounds and you used it in the third round of overtime, you no longer have it. So I hope that speeds up play. That should speed it up a lot.
We've got the Bielema and Beamer battle rule. If you
The
do the
T,
T signal on kickoff, now that is you
it's
can't
dead.
return the ball.
Can't return it. Plays dead.
I need your help with one.
Okay.
Team pre-snap movement. This is how it reads on the Football Foundation website. Any defensive team player within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage, stationary or not, may not make quick and abrupt or exaggerated actions that simulate action at the snap and are not part of the normal defensive player movement in an obvious attempt to make the offense foul.
Yeah. I don't
What?
think that's a new rule. I think it's just a point of emphasis because, um, like pre 2000 ish, defense could do whatever. They could flinch, they could do whatever as long as they didn't get into the neutral zone, or you could even get into the neutral zone as long as you got back. Then they changed it. You can't flinch, it has to be a football move. Um, so I think this is just a point of emphasis because you're seeing a lot of, I think it's more offense because it says in there that the offense is going to be moved to the same standard. I think it's a reminder maybe for centers or for, some of those shifts or something where you're trying to draw the defense off sides. That's all I could think about or think is in that note.
I I just wanted to scream into the pillow when I read the disconcerting signals section. No player may call defensive signals that simulate the sound or cadence of or otherwise interfere with offensive starting signals. That means no one on the defense can clap, which I think is the stupidest thing in the world. It probably has a lot to do with me hating the clap snap count. I think it's dumb. I think it takes away a weapon that the offense can utilize to its advantage. But defenders can't clap, Ted.
Yeah,
We're playing football, man, and we can't clap. It sounds ridiculous.
I know. And here's what I hate about it is number one, I don't know how the offense just got to be handed the clap from, okay, that
The
the
football
offense
gods
gets
have
that.
gifted the offense the clap, okay?
Right.
That didn't sound
Because
good.
if you're in a if you're in a stadium with 80,000 people, it's third down, you're trying to get a stop, the crowd is in a frenzy. You make a close call on defense and you need to readjust the call and the defensive line can't hear you. You got to get their attention somehow. Like, hey, you got to clap at them to get them to, I don't know what you do now, so you just got to be careful with it. And it is something that I think has been going on out there. Remember what Neil Brown say? Like he's adamant that you remember that game where who was the linebacker?
Asamoah.
Was it Osmoa?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got the penalty. Uh it's something that's going, there's shenanigans that are going on out there with either offense, maybe using the move or stem call and the defense. Like there's something going on out there. But just being able to hand the clap to the offense and the defense no longer gets to forcibly put your hands together seems strange.
I So the offense gets the clap while the defense gets the terms move and stem. Those are reserved for defensive cadence and may not be used by the offense. So an offense apparently cannot say the word move or stem, which I've played in offenses where you start in a condensed formation and the quarterback goes, move. Everyone breaks out into a more expanded formation. Can't do that anymore. Only the defense can say move, Ted. Now, if I was an offensive coordinator, because of how stupid I think these rules are, I would simply make a word that sounds a lot like move and a lot like stem and use them on offense. And if the ref said, hey, whoa, you can't say that, I said, I didn't say that. I said groove.
I can see a Jim Carrey from Ace Ventura 2 situation going on out there. Money. Mama. No, he jumped. Get him out of here. Let's go. You're gone.
Only the defense can say move and stem. Disallowed on the offensive side of the ball. So stupid. We do have the what has to be labeled as the Dan Lanning rule. Substitution fouls by the defense after the 2 minute timeout.
Yep.
It's always fun when you get a rule. Hey, but Lanning knew the rules and now, but that has been taken out of it.
And the offense gets the option, right, for what they want. If they want the substitute, if they want the penalty, or they want to reset the game clock.
You always take the
It's
game clock.
important.
You need
Yeah.
time. You need time. Any other ones?
Well,
We've got
I mentioned the a player going for a loose ball now is deemed as a defenseless player. Um,
what does
I
that even mean, bro?
uh,
If you fumble the ball and you're a running back and you're chasing after it and you take a massive shot to the side of the head as you're bending down trying to get it, that's your fault. It should
well,
not be a penalty.
it doesn't even have to be massive. It just has to be forcible contact to the head or neck area.
So you're telling me there's going to be a targeting penalty on every fumble then?
I don't know. All I know is this is a new rule and it is going to come up at the absolute worst time you could ever imagine. And it's going to have an impact on the outcome of a game. I can just already see it.
Here's how it reads verbatim. A player attempting to recover a loose ball is added to the list of defenseless players. What?
Yeah.
If our running backs coaches and wide receivers coaches going to now teach guys, hey, if you fumble, like try to get hit in the side of the head, like what
Well,
are we doing?
here's what's interesting. If a ball is loose, 22 guys on the field are now defenseless. Right? Am I wrong about that? If the ball's like, do you have to be right there about to recover it? I mean, how far away from the ball in pursuit of the loose ball do you have to be to deemed defense? Does that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, I don't know.
it's stupid. There's one rule change we haven't covered. Automatic unsportsmanlike conduct fouls. In this, I just got to read it word for word. All forms of gun violence are not permitted in college football, and simulating the firing of a weapon is an automatic unsportsmanlike foul. Added to the rule in 2025, if a player brandishes a weapon, it is considered an unsportsmanlike act.
Can you brandish a sword? Can you brandish a bow and arrow? Or are these just firearms?
I think they're mainly trying to take the AK-47 celebration out of the.
We don't want the edge players airing out the crowd.
I think that's the main one they want to eliminate.
How that became a thing last year is strange, right?
It certainly became a thing. I I've got no problem with that one. I
Seems like a
the
no-brainer.
celebrate the gun celebration trend last year was I don't know it was something, but now it is clear. If you do it, you're getting a personal foul, and your coach is going to be furious. So
Uh,
at least it's black and white. No gun celebrations this year, guys.
no guns.
What's
Well,
your favorite rule change?
my favorite rule change, I guess, the feigning injuries,
Yeah.
because it's like a non-football thing, right? Let's play. Let's see who the best football team is. Let's not sit here and tinker with like the gray area of the rules over and over and over. I just think that takes away from the game, but we'll see how it works.
Yeah. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first, three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise, it's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. Chubby's has dropped some officially licensed NFL gear that will have you looking fantastic on Sundays to cheer your squad on. For a limited time only, use our exclusive code OKBreakdown for $10 off at chubbyshorts.com/OKBreakdown. Chubby's is the ultimate football apparel brand, so much so that they created their own fantasy football league. George Kittle, Ian Rappaport, and others have come together to assemble the Chubby's League on NFL Fantasy. Each week, the top 5 scorers will win a chance at a Chubby's polo and shorts combo with their team's logo. The grand champion gets the chance at the ultimate fan experience, a 5-city, 5-stadium NFL game tour with a +1. And the fantasy flop faces a hilarious and unforgettable punishment only Chubby's could pull off. Head to chubbyshorts.com/the Chubby's League to learn more and have some fun. Get ready for the most outrageous fantasy football season of your life. And would you look at that, folks? For a limited time, our friends at Chubby's are giving our listeners $10 off with the promo code OKBreakdown at chubbyshorts.com/OKBreakdown. That's $10 off your order with promo code OKBreakdown, and that includes the NFL collection. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Express yourself and level up your game day wardrobe with Chubby's. All right, for my winner of the weekend, Ted, give me the preseason football content. I don't know. These people. What's wrong with these people that don't like preseason polls, that don't like the preseason Heisman odds, that don't like the preseason All-American teams? Those people are losers. Because I love this stuff. I look at every single one of them. I consume all of the preseason college football content. It's great. I love preseason polls. It gives us something to talk about and argue about. I love the preseason Heisman odds. It gives us something to talk about and argue about. I don't understand these people that are like, we shouldn't have a poll till week 6. Why not? Who cares?
All right. I agree with you. It's like we talk about this sport year round, and this is like your final round of fodder before we actually start football, right? You can complain of where your team is. You can defend where your team is. You can call people idiots for putting your team at a certain place. You can call people idiots for putting another team at a certain place. It's the final round before we actually get going. So I'm with you. Content, baby.
Like I was in a deep dive in the AP poll, the preseason AP top 25. I was just looking at it going, okay, what are my big complaints? Your top 5, you got Texas at 1, Penn State at 2, Ohio State at 3, Clemson at 4, Georgia at 5. And I'm sitting there going, which one of those don't belong? I'm thinking it's Clemson. I know that may be a hot take. I'm kind of in a prove it phase with Clemson. They lost to every SEC team they played a year ago. Are they really a top 5 team? I don't know.
Yeah.
But you look at it, OU at 18. What do you think about that? Like I've got no issue with OU at 18.
I think it's about right. I think I think usually like 18 to 22 is possibly a good football team. We feel like they're going to be strong. We don't necessarily know where to place them. So you get thrown in the 18 to 22 range. We feel like you're firmly a top 25 team, but after where you were a year ago and what people think maybe this year, it's like the safe spot. Now, I personally don't think that there's 17 better football teams in the country than what we're going to be this year, but I think 18 is the right place to put them.
It probably has a lot to do with the fact that OU plays number 1 Texas, number 8 Alabama, number 9 LSU, number 13 South Carolina, number 14 Michigan, number 21 Ole Miss, and number 24 Tennessee.
Yep.
Probably bake that into the ranking a little bit when you're filling out that preseason ballot if you're an AP voter, and that's human nature. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting. Looking at all the teams in the preseason AP Top 25, OU is the only team that didn't win 8 or more games last season. 15 of the AP Top 25 won 10 or more last season. Sooners went 6 and 7. It probably has a lot to do with people's expectations for the defense under Venables and for the improved offense under Arbuckle with Mateer. But it also probably has a lot to do with the historical success of this program.
Yep.
But still, I thought it was very interesting that every other team in the AP Top 25 in this preseason AP Top 25 had a much better season than OU did last year.
Yeah.
But I think the expectations are what they are. Like everyone, with the changes that were made, like everyone's expecting OU to be a better team, including us.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I think is interesting. Like you went through all the teams on our schedule that are in the top 25. That is going to has a potential to look drastically different after week 1. Texas plays Ohio State. Alabama plays Florida State. LSU plays Clemson. South Carolina plays Virginia Tech. Tennessee plays Syracuse. So there's a lot of teams that have, either a really difficult week 1 game or it's a good enough non-conference game that you better be ready to play ball or you could get upset by some of these teams. So curious to see what happens in week 1.
As I was studying the AP poll, part of me did go, what's wrong with these people? You have the chance to make Texas, Ohio State number 1 versus number 2. And you make it number 1 versus number 3. What are you doing?
Yeah.
When's the last time Penn State beat Ohio State? I get it. Penn State's got a ton of guys back. They got Drew Aller back. I get it. But what are we doing? You got to vote it to where it's number 1 versus number 2. Don't try to be different. Be like, hey, I'm gonna zag here. It's got to be number 1 versus number 2. What are you guys doing?
And I mean, they are the returning champion too. So while I agree Penn State has a bunch of people coming back and this may be their best opportunity to go win a championship, I agree, but it's just Penn State. It's not, people will get it if you put Ohio State ahead of Penn State, right? There's some history in that one too.
What are you doing, AP voters? You got to make it 1 versus 2. Come on. Build the drama. 1 versus 3 doesn't look nearly as good on the graphic. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I did think, by the way, I'm serious. I spent a long time looking at the AP poll. You look at the top 10 teams in the preseason AP Top 25. Number 1, number 3, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 10. All have new quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It's wild when you look at it that way. And quarterback in college football, it may not carry the same weight as it does in the NFL. But could you imagine talking about the NFL season and like previewing it and be like, oh, yeah, just, 7 out of the top 10 teams we're expecting to have great seasons. They all have new quarterbacks.
Yeah. The Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bills, like everyone all has all changing quarterbacks in the same season. That would be unheard of.
It's all and none of it's like big time. Or I guess there's a couple of what you would call prize free agent signings, like Miami at 10. I feel like we know for the most part what we're going to get from Carson Beck. His floor's high,
Yeah.
but when you talk about Ohio State with saying, or even Arch Manning at Texas, Stockton at Georgia, I think it's going to be Carr at Notre Dame. You've got Moore at Oregon, Simpson at Alabama. There's a lot of unknown here, man. It's just really interesting when and that's the top 10 teams in the country in the
Yeah.
preseason poll.
And a lot, like to your point, outside of Arch at Texas, it doesn't feel like there's a bunch of, oh my God, this guy, it's kind of it's got a different feel to it. There's guys that have, a lot of those have kind of been won through somewhat of a battle where there wasn't just a guy you're handing the program over to. So, I mean, that's going to tell the story for a lot of those teams is were they able to replicate what they've had in recent years at quarterback?
Arch Manning is your preseason Heisman odds favorite. FanDuel, he's plus 700. Followed closely by Klubnik and Nussmeier at plus 900. How about this? Jeremiah Smith with the fourth best odds at plus 1200.
It is the era for wide receiver. So I don't think that that's necessarily a bad pick. Um, how about the odds for Mateer? I mean, it's a pretty solid return on your investment there, plus 2,400, or was it 2,500?
Yeah, plus depending on where you're looking at. Right now, FanDuel, he's plus 2,500.
I saw our guy Pate laying the Mateer money for Heisman.
He did. He did. We'll see. Clearly, John Mateer is Pate State material.
Who do you, whenever you just look at that list of guys, who's your early pick?
I'm always looking for value.
Well,
Like I
I'm not
see
even talking about that. I'm just saying, who do you think will win it? Not included the value proposition.
mm, you just have to go quarterback. And I think Nussmeier is probably the safest bet.
Here's the
But
thing, like,
the knee thing, I don't love it.
well, is Clemson LSU, is that a Heisman elimination?
Feels that way. I mean, it's a long season, but certainly feels that way.
It's hard to win the Heisman over a guy that beat you. Like if Nussmeier and Klubnik are right there at the end of the year, like in the top two or three, it's going to be very difficult to win the award over a guy that beat you that season.
That seems very fair. I think that Klubnik's probably, when you look at Clemson's schedule, Klubnik is probably the safest bet. Now, if I had
That'd
to
be my
put,
pick.
just because he had a really good season a year ago, the schedule is what it is. He does have the marquee opener. Like he's going to have every opportunity to put up huge numbers. I do think just looking at value, Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame, at plus 4,000.
He is a good player. I like
He
him a
is
lot.
now the Notre Dame offensive line, maybe not going to be what we're used to from the Irish, but that dude is an absolute beast. I, I think he's the best running back in college football. I think throwing a few shekels on Jeremiah Love plus 4,000 is worth it. And then it is what it is, man. Jaden Maava at USC. Lincoln Riley's produced a couple. I'm just saying at plus
Yep.
6,500. I'm just saying I don't even really know that much about the kid, but the system has produced.
Yep.
A
Fair
couple
point.
winners and a runner up. I'm just saying it may be worth just throwing a couple of dollars on.
For me, it's hard not to love the Mateer at 24, 2,500. In one of the reasons I like the Mateer pick is like for Arch Manning, he's plus 700. He's the favorite, and he's on the preseason #1 team. Like, you don't have any room really to play to underwhelm. I think Mateer, especially given the expectations of the football team and the schedule. I mean, you got a direct opportunity to beat the Heisman favorite. You got a direct opportunity to beat Nussmeier, the #2 favorite. You got a direct opportunity to beat Lenore Sellers as the #3 or 4 favorite. So, and I don't think, as I look at it right now, I think Oklahoma is has an opportunity to win all of those games. I don't think it's a crazy scenario to pick them to win those games. And if you do that, I mean, process of elimination can help Mateer a ton. But got to go out there on the field and do it.
No doubt. Love the AP poll. Love the Heisman odds. I love all that. I don't get people that complain about it. Don't get it. Don't understand. Preseason college football content is the best.
Mm-hmm.
My loser of the weekend. Give me the Big Ten Conference. It seems like everyone else wants the 5+11 model, while the Big Ten is still holding on to the 4-4-2-2-1+3 with some playing weekend thing. And so, even though the Big Ten hasn't gotten support with the model that they like, what do, Ted? They go, how about this, guys? More teams. More teams.
Okay. Now I'm listening.
More automatic qualifier spots for us in the SEC. Hey, Big 12 and ACC, you still get a couple less than us, but you get more. You get 5 this time. Huh? How
Mm-hmm.
about it? How about it? A 24 or even a 28 team college football playoff? I love the term that Ross Dellinger used. He said, Big Ten executives are socializing a 24 and 28 team college football playoff bracket. They're just socializing, Ted. They're just throwing it out there, seeing what the vibes are. It feels like, when you have an idea or a suggestion and people are like, no, we don't want to do that. And you're like, wait, what happens if I suggest something way more ridiculous and then my initial suggestion won't seem so ridiculous? That's what it feels like. That's what the Big Ten is doing here, man.
Trying to really put a lot of fake momentum behind the 28 team playoff to where, okay, you settle back on something else and maybe it doesn't seem that bad. Um, my initial thought, it's way too many teams. Um, you know, I'm never mad at more football, but bringing more teams in that I don't think have a legitimate chance is not what I'm in favor of. And you also have to talk about this. If you go to 28 teams, and I don't know how they structured it, maybe they said this with bowl games, but if you have 28 teams making the playoff, the bowl games as we've always known them are officially dead.
I think conference championship games would officially be dead. You don't have 7 teams make it from a conference and play a conference championship game.
No.
Just don't. So the only thing where I went, okay, I could get on board with that was you'd have a 5-round playoff. Those first 2 rounds would be on campus. That would not suck.
No. I think the
What's that,
first two
20,
rounds should be on
games?
campus now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. But more college football playoff games on campus would be awesome. I hope we get that with whatever the. I think we're still going to get a 16 team playoff. Maybe it stays at 12. I don't know. But the Big Ten's over here go, let's just make it as big as possible. Why not, guys?
It really feels like Sankey has just settled back into we'll just keep what we're doing now. And whether he wants that or it's just a negotiating tactic, it's almost like, well, more I've thought about it, we're probably just good with what we have. Not a
So,
bad idea.
some quick math in the NFL 14 of the 32 teams make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's 44%. There's 65 teams in the Power Four. If you do 24 teams, that's 37%. If you do 28 teams, that's 43%. It's just the math. It's kind of interesting when you just look at it from a math perspective, but college football is not the NFL.
There's a very there is a very steep drop off in college football that you don't have in the NFL.
Correct. Absolutely.
It's very likely that
But that's probably what the Big Ten is saying. It's like, hey, if we're trying to build this into the NFL, look
right.
at these percentages. You know, Tony
There's a very
Patini seems like he's just determined to make everyone not like him.
right. That I mean, there's a pretty good likelihood that the last team to make it into the NFL playoffs maybe beat the best team in the NFL. I mean,
Right.
that's just kind of how it is on a week by week basis. But um, I think you're probably right. It's probably more posturing, and let's just keep throwing out ever expanding scenarios to get people in order keep throwing things out that everyone absolutely hates in order for them to settle on something that they just kind of hate.
Oh, you don't like the 7-7-5-5-2-2. I've lost track. May I interest you in a 4-4-2-2 1+3? I just did. The Big Ten is it's I don't know what they're doing. Like I don't know how getting no support for what they wanted for the 16 team model made them go, you know what? Let's make it bigger. We'll do the same thing, but if we make it bigger, everyone will say, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Everyone else in college football is in final decision mode, and Big Ten is still in brainstorming session.
Well, it's no big deal. It's not like this has to be decided soon or anything. Wait, what? December 1st. Yeah, they're supposed to decide the next format on December 1st, dude.
Let's just go ideas. Nothing is too stupid. Throw out anything that hits you right away. Just blurt it out. That's where the Big Ten is right now, still.
I will say, in the Big Ten's defense, which this may be the first time I've said that phrase. They play a 24 team playoff in the FCS. So it's not some preposterous concept. Now I think 10 teams get a first round bye in that. But it is a 24 team college football playoff exists in the FCS.
Yeah.
I
Well, I the more and I understand the difficulty with it, but the more this conversation goes round and round, it's the automatic qualifiers for the group of five or whatever they're called for me that just mucks the whole thing up. You know, I feel like eventually you have to get to a point where they have their own championship. And I know that those teams are going to fight that to the bitter end. I understand that, but it just feels like ultimately that's where we're going to end up at some point.
I it's always been my understanding that that is built into it so that those schools don't all get together and sue people.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Everything's changing so quickly and dramatically. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to look like, but as long as OU's in the SEC and they're playing college football games where guys are wearing the interlocking O and U on Saturdays, I'm kind of over here going, oh, I'll be all right.
You just win games. It doesn't matter what the format is, right?
Fair enough. Great suggestion, Big Ten. Can't wait to see where it ends up. Just ridiculous.